Hello and welcome once again to the Alexandra Wenman show. And I'm so excited today to introduce another of our wonderful alchemistic guests, the beautiful Carrie Tree, who is an amazing singer-songwriter and I would say kind of a bit of an earth custodian, wouldn't you, Carrie? I think your message is very powerful for the earth. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here. Yeah, it's a joy to be here with you.
It was an absolute kind of synchronistic, I think rather miraculous, beautiful coincidence that we stumbled upon you for our Alchymystic event, because we had set such a lovely intention for everything that we're doing to come from the heart and to invite people back into their hearts, which I kind of feel is what's happening on the planet now. I think we're being forced back into our hearts in a way. But you obviously, you work in this way, your music is all about this. But I wanted to ask, how did it all start for you? How did you start this beautiful musical journey?
I think it basically was just like a call. It's my calling, and so it started very young with music in my family. My dad was always in bands playing bass and singing harmonies in like sort of covers, Eagles, Beatles bands. And so like, I was there in the front row with my sister, like dancing, like watching my dad playing bands. And so it's a musical family, his father as well. So we were always singing harmonies, me, my brother and my sister. And, so I feel super grateful to have had that as this foundation, to have music in my life. But I just didn't, it was always supposed to be just for a hobby. And then I just, it just wasn't like that for me. It just became, my absolute medicine, and the needed medicine for me to heal myself and manage to get through my childhood and teens into that age where I just felt so, I had everything, all my needs met in physical terms, but emotionally just sort of I needed to find a way to express myself, otherwise I don't know what would have happened. The music was just that way, and of me exploring the world. And I would start with these really angsty teenage feelings in a song, and then at the end of the song it would be like back into alignment and back into harmony and back into hope and back into prayer. And so I would sing myself through into peace. And I just kept going, basically. I just couldn't stop once I started. I tried, and then I sort of started doing it. I went to Australia actually for a year when I was 18. Yeah, like ran away as far as I could.
That's what I did on the other side.
Yeah. And I just basically lived outside for a year in the nature in Australia, and just made my first CD, and I busked a lot and found my way making a living with music. And once I had that flavor of being a troubadour, I could never really. I was unemployable, basically.
No,
so my partner said,
be kept away from it.
He's like, Carrie, you're unemployable. You can only do this. This is what you do. Like, it's not only, but that's like, and a few times I would try and get away from it, because I'd be in the music industry scene in London, playing showcases and trying to work out how to be in that system as a troubadour, which I feel like I am actually. And it was never really about like a show for me. It was about the opposite of a show. It was about how authentic can I be, how honest can I be, how connected can we be, because that's what I love, and I'm so interested in humanness, why we are the way we are and what holds us back, and how we come back to our hearts. So a few times I tried to stop and thinking, no, I can't do this.
No, you can never stop.
I can stop. If something would come along and just lure me back, Yeah, so
it really is heart medicine. I was listening to some of your music before we started the interview, and I mean, the one song that really called me was the song about water. I just finished a water oracle deck, and it's just gone to press today, and I thought, what an amazing synchronicity. And I love the same message. Beautiful. It nearly had me in tears. Absolutely gorgeous. So I would love to know a bit about your I guess your songwriting process, how does it happen for you? Do you do music first and then words, or does it come out together? How does it work?
Um, it's usually music first, I'd say. It's usually a feeling, you know, and a feeling and a need to pick up the guitar or go to the piano, you know, that thing, it just calls me. And then the music is the sort of soundtrack, and then the words just sort of formulates. It's very like in the dream realm. I don't really often sit and think, what should I write about? Or I don't even know what it's about. And often songs are for a while just sounds and shapes and vowels, and then slowly I'm like, okay, this needs to actually, I need to go to the next step and actually complete it, which is a bit, I find a bit more difficult these days, actually, to like go to completion stages. Like I express myself with the blahs and then I'm like, okay, I'm done, and then I finish it. But I hear that that's pretty common in songwriter land. But yeah, but then I also I get bored of myself, so it's nice to just shake it up and be like, okay, I'm going to try and write a story and then make it into a poem, you know, realizing that actually I can play in that realm. It doesn't have to be set. But yeah, that's usually that's usually the main thing. When it calls me, that's what happens. The music comes first.
It is like an alchemy, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
It's like the way you talk about bringing through your songs is how I write my poetry, and I've started putting poetry to music lately, but it's always words for me. Kind of, it comes through like water. I sort of hear it before I realize that it's really triggering emotions within me, and then to write through to the end, it is, sometimes they sound a bit passive aggressive or a bit, like you said, the angsty, and then by the time you get to the end you feel like you've been on a whole journey. And what I love about the sharing of it, as I'm sure the sharing of your music, is when you hear from people who say, wow, that really touched me, or that really triggered me, what you shared. And so thank God you're sharing what you're creating, because I think if it heals us, it must heal the many. It must have the same impact. It's such a medicine.
Yeah, it's been amazing through the years, because I started so shy and so quiet. I learned to play guitar as quiet as I could in my room. So if you were like a meter next to me, you wouldn't hear me, And I learned just because I couldn't bear anyone hearing me. So it was so held and intimate. But yes, why was I going? I've lost my thread. What did you just say? You said,
oh, what was I saying? Something about the medicine, the music has
yeah, realizing that as I've finally got more grounded and more present and just a bit older and able to, and I started doing lots of house concerts where I'd make it so intimate and so held. It was almost like cotton wool, where there'd be like 25 people in a room, no PA, just where the deer inside me, I feel like I've got a deer inside, could come out, could actually open their eyes and come out and start to be more in the space instead of like this. And then through the years, that's helped me so much, till I'm able to really now watch what happens to the songs, what the spirit, and I feel like they're spirits, these songs. They totally are. They come to me, I'm so honored that they come through me. I love them. They teach me so much. They're my dearest friends in medicine, and they keep me healthy. And then, when I share them, I see them come in the space and move around the room and do their thing, and it's so, it touches me so much. And of course they come in when people are really up for it, they come in really full. And then if people aren't so much, they sort of hover around the edges. So that's why I'm always so grateful to people, I'm always so grateful to audiences when they gift me their deep presence and listening, because then the whole songs can come in like fully into the space and we can all really dive in, and that's like the most delicious food to me.
I can see it. I can see the energy of the sound. It's amazing. It's almost like water. I see it kind of like it is like they are like living things, aren't they? I guess they are. All energy is, really. I love your voice has a really beautiful fragility about it as well. That's very kind of, I guess that's, part of your essence, really, but it creates such a safe space. Like even when you're listening, like it just kind of makes you feel held, even when you're listening in your own home. And I can't wait to actually be there when you're playing live. And so with Alchymystic, can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing? Because it's something a little bit different, isn't it? It's not, I think.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit then.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you froze a little bit. I was just going to say, for Alchymystic, can you share a little bit about what you're going to be sharing at the event? Because it's slightly different to what people would expect from a musician, isn't it?
Um, it's hard for me to know what people would expect from a musician because it depends on what people and where and so many things with that. But I'm just going to be sharing whichever songs want to come into the space. I don't write set lists. I don't know how to write set lists. It's like impossible for me. It's so torturous. If I play with a band and I have to write a set list, it's like 10 maths exams altogether. Like, trying to work out what wants to be there before you're there. So I have a sort of, medicine bag of songs, and they just will tell me what wants to come in depending on the space and the audience and the energy. And it's really like that. I don't know yet.
until you feel the energy and meet the audience, I suppose.
There's so many factors. There's so many unknown factors that will be, will tell me what wants to be in there and to harmonize the space. So they just tell me what the songs are just like me. And if I don't listen, or if I try and play something I want to or something, it's sort of doesn't feel good.
Got to go with the flow. Listen with the feels. I love it.
And sometimes songs I haven't played for a really long time, on the day or a couple of days before, will just ping in and be like, oh, that needs to come.
How big of because you must have quite a big repertoire now. How many songs do you think you've written?
I don't know, actually. I mean, in terms of, I've written just probably hundreds and hundreds, but I forget a lot through the years, so they fall along the way, and sometimes ones that they lose, they go out of date. Sometimes I try and sing it and I'm like, oh, this feels like putting on a sort of weird dress that you used to love. It just feels all awkward, and others are sort of timeless and like really old friends that you just love. So I wouldn't be able to say how many I have. Maybe I could count them one day.
And I love that your kind of little tagline on your website is, it's music to feed the heart. And I really feel like you do live that. That's, you're walking the talk as you're doing it, which is just beautiful. It's about embodying it, which is, our whole, I guess, mission statement for this event, and is to kind of handhold a little bit, kind of offer people some support in all of this that we're going through at the moment. And obviously so many over the years, but particularly these last 3 years, have been going through quite a lot of difficulty, upheaval, loss, a bit of chaos. What would you say to people at the moment going through these difficulties that we're kind of experiencing as a collective and as individuals?
Oh, I mean, what would I say? I mean, for me, the biggest, there's a few biggest lessons, but there's one about what happens when there's no judgment. I love it's so easy to be in judgment of ourselves. I know it's easier said than done. Of course it is. This is it's easy to say it, but like when that can really start to be embodied, like what happens if there's no judgment, if there was no right and wrong, if we could feel everything we feel is okay, everything that's here is here to teach us something, show us something, that that perspective helps me so much, because then it becomes like a sort of treasure hunt. And like my friend always says to me, what's right about this that you're not, this is a good question, what's right about this that I'm not getting? Sometimes I'm like, oh, what's right about this? And like, even though like it's a complete disaster, just that question just sort of switching in, like, okay, what if life was totally out to bless me right now, and this was a gift for me, even though it's impossible for me to see how? What if it was, to just open that perspective, which I think it is all the time. But of course, it's, you know, it's difficult when deeply painful things are happening to people for us to always be in that space. But yeah, that for me is the one thing I really helps me. And love, of course, just can we love those parts of ourselves? Can we love like the one that's judging? Can we love the judge? Can we love the, you know, the one in rage, or the one grieving, or the one that feels selfish, or those ones, because they don't really get any love, those characters, do they?
That's the alchemy, isn't it? To be able to sit with the ugliest parts of yourself, or the most painful parts of yourself, or a situation. I was saying that to a friend today who's in a really big challenge, a huge challenge really. And I was saying, you know, even when you can't see the wood for the trees, even when everything is falling apart around you, even when you feel like you don't know how you'll get through it, if you stay in absolute trust that it will work out for the best, it usually does, that there will be a gift or a blessing in it somewhere. You just, because you can't see it and it just looks like turmoil, doesn't mean that it's not, you know, eventually the wheel of fortune will turn in your favor, or that you're getting something out of it that's helping you find your treasure somewhere. It is, it's definitely fundamental to my perspective as well, my way of living, but it doesn't stop me from sometimes being enraged at the divine and sometimes having to swear like a trooper to get through things.
Yeah, and that's why I love music so much. It's such a relief for me, you know? And it's like more and more I start to feel this real nurturing, motherly nurturing energy that comes through, that just is like, oh, it's okay, you know, bless us sweet humans on this planet, like wandering around in bodies trying to work out what on earth we're doing here, you know. With all our funny isms and just wanting to love and be loved, and you know, that feeling of like, oh, it's such a deep compassion. And I just feel like the music, like water, it's so much like water, just soothes me anyway, firstly, and then
it's so healing. It really is. I mean, if we think about it, everything is frequency. Yeah, you know, everything is, you know, all around us is sound, even when we can't audibly hear it, and we, you know, we can really work with it to harmonize ourselves to our lives in the universe. And I just find, I love music. I think I've always been one of those people that really listens and receives messages to the words that come on the radio, of songs that come on the radio, even if it's seemingly random. It'll always feel like the radio is talking to me, and I'm always paying attention. Those messages that come from the universe really come through those songs, and it's constant. It's like, oh, okay, what are you trying? It's usually aligned to a theme that I'm working through in my life. However, whether I like the song or not, you know, if it's a random thing, it's like, oh, all right, thanks, universe.
Yeah.
Always talking, always speaking and singing.
You know, my partner's always like that with number plates. He's always seeing these crazy messages in the number plate.
I do as well.
He always gets these really good ones.
Yeah, I get really random ones. I keep seeing the word win lately, win. And I'm like, okay, what am I winning? And then literally I was thinking about it the other day. I was standing on the roadside at the bus stop, and I thought, this winning thing, is it for me or is it for my friend? Because my friend's going through a court case at the moment. And this car driver, I kid you not, I was like, is this for me or is it for so-and-so? The car that drove past said, win you on the number plate. And I was like, okay, so I guess it's for me. I was just like, what on earth is crazy? But if we pay attention, the messages are everywhere, aren't they? They really are. Love the synchronicity. And I mean, yeah, I get the huge angel wings or big butterfly wings wherever I go. So I've got all these pictures on my Instagram of me with big wings behind me, because they're literally every time I leave the house, pretty much. I think there couldn't be that many pictures of wings on the planet, but literally everywhere I go. Major. It's major. So one question that is coming through, which isn't my question, but seems to be filtering through somehow, is, what do you think the purpose of music is?
questions.
There are no tricky questions.
Like, oh God, what's the answer? Where's the answer?
57.
Google it. Say something really wise and profound. No pressure. No. What is the purpose of music? Just do it like open inquiry. Purpose of music is. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of why I love it so much, because it's, the mind can't really work it out. Like, it's just a gift. Like, what's the purpose of, it's like the sound of life, isn't it? It's like the sound of flow of life.
Yeah,
I love it with the, you know, the mbira, from Zimbabwe, the African piano, thumb piano. Really dear friends of mine hold ceremonies with it from Zimbabwe, and they when they start playing it, they say it's like there's always a river flowing, and when they start playing it, they just jump on the sound of the river. Then when they stop, the river's still flowing. They're not, and you can't hear it anymore. So it's like, you know, so it's like they're just showing you the sound of the flow that's already there. So I feel like music.
It's like when Michelangelo said that the angel was already in the stone, and he just carved the stone to reveal the angel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's gorgeous.
It feels like that. It feels like it just wants to. Yeah.
It's already there. It just needs revealing or harnessing or.
Yeah, maybe it's just like why is healing? Why is healing? I don't know how to. What creativity? Like, I guess we just need to. Well, that's just what's such an amazing thing about humans, that we can express. Like, we cook, and we dance, and we paint, and we play music, and we create art because we can, and it's just
It's the sheer pleasure of it, isn't it? Yeah. I think without art, without music, without creativity, without the ability to express ourselves really uniquely, you know, it is what sets us apart. It sets us apart as humans, I really think. And it's a way to connect with each other and really touch each other at that deep divine level as well. It's like, you know, those times when you go through something that you feel like you can't put into words, and then someone comes along and writes a beautiful piece of music that it may not have words, but even if it's a song that is just orchestral, but it touches on that note, that nerve that just seems to prod the wound but also heal it at the same time. That's the goal. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Or a painting that you can't really interpret, but it brings up emotion that you kind of feel, allows you to. I feel like it's like they're like doorways in consciousness as well. They kind of connect us but open us to more these like beautiful compositions and artworks and poems and things like that.
Yeah, they're prayers as well, aren't they? I mean,
they are, yeah.
I also think music is, the purpose of music is like you just said, it's like the imagination, like it's the realm where the magic can get in, isn't it? It's like music and art, it's the realm where whatever wants to speak to us can speak to us, connect in that way. So it's for us to pray and to give gratitude and share story, and it's ancient, isn't it? It's ancient.
So ancient. Ooh. I wonder how many past lives you've had working with music. It's like a whole other language that you speak. It's so natural.
Yeah, I feel more and more humbled and grateful to it, every day. The mystery of it, and the fact that I can't work out, the fact that it's free as well. We can't tame it, we can't like tell it what to do, or I don't know, it's just this wild freeness to it, which I have so much respect for, and I'm really in service to.
That's gorgeous. In terms of your year this year, you've done quite a few events, I'm guessing. You've been here, there and everywhere, and I'm sure there've been many and varied. What are some of your favorites that you've played this year?
Oh gosh, I have one of those memories where I don't remember what I did yesterday.
It's probably so busy.
I mean, so yeah, it's been a really busy summer, but beautiful, just because we've all been set free again, haven't we? So I played, God, where did I play? Played a beautiful, beautiful festival in Holland. Go to Holland quite a lot, and then played the Ecstatic Dance Festival, which is amazing. So we dances the whole week, and then we play on Saturday night, where everyone just really special. And yeah, like a Oxford Storytelling Festival, that's really special. Cambridge,
lovely.
so special. Portugal was amazing. I went to a few different. I mean, so I couldn't say my favourite. Just some lovely Europe things and rambling around the country.
Spreading your wings.
Yeah, it feels amazing. And then also playing with my partner, we've been doing some concerts together, and which has been really special. Just sort of seeing how we weave together in that realm. It's really lovely.
Oh, that's so lovely. Well, we're so blessed to have you at our event, and we're really looking forward to meeting in person and having a hug and having a love in and blessing the space. We're so blessed that you're going to bring your beautiful music and your presence to bless our space. And but for those who are wanting to hear some of your music, where's the best place for them to find you, Carrie?
My website is carrietree.co.uk, or Spotify is there's Carrie Tree, CARRIE Tree. Yeah, Spotify is a good one, or YouTube, or
Wonderful. And I know that you're gonna, as well as your set, you're gonna help us to close the whole show, so I'm so looking forward to that feels like it's just gonna seal everything off in a really beautiful musical container. I'm so looking forward to it.
Me too.
Oh, but thank you so much for joining me today, honey. Are there any parting words you'd like to say to everybody before we go?
It reminds me of the Irish parting glass song. Just be really lovely to see anyone at the event, and if people want me to come play, I love playing really beautiful, small, intimate house concerts as well as bigger events. So if you're feeling the call to have music in your home or near you, please feel free to message me, contact me. I love to come and play for people if they want to listen.
That is such a beautiful idea, a real intimate, private Carrie Tree gig.
Love it. It's I love both, but in the intimate ones, they're so special. You can really go deep with people, and they get really cozy and cushions and tea, and we'll have food beforehand, and it's a really lovely way to just nourish ourselves. Yeah.
That's it. It's the music as nourishment, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Oh, I love that. Well, I'm going to share all the links to Carrie and her music and how you can get in touch with her below the video. But do please come and join us on the 5th and 6th of November in Glastonbury. Beautiful, the heart chakra of the planet, as we do our beautiful Alchymystic Love Alchemy weekend. Beautiful. Come and have a love in. And any questions, do feel free to comment. And we hope to see you there. Carrie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Really looking forward to it. Yeah, to the event, and I'll see you there.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching.